These are the recovered journals of a castaway. Day XX. This world harbors secrets. I was convinced of this when I began re-examining the globe's geographical features for my research towards the end of last year. Looking over the islands of the world, I noticed something strange. It felt like a certain area was empty, so to speak. I knew there should have been something there. It was unbelievable to me how no one could have noticed such an obvious absence of a location. With a few months of preparation, I was successfully able to guess the location of an island based on my hypothesis. With conviction in my heart, I chartered a boat and set out for the island alone. Day 0. Strangely enough, this island is shrouded in a thick fog that makes discerning it from the sea impossible. Attempting to steer away from the fog, I turned rudder, only to be enveloped by an even deeper fog. Just then, someone attacked me. I have no idea where the attack came from, but my boat was all but destroyed. With nothing but wreckage left, I was still able to make it to the coast. The island exists in no database. It is an island hidden from the world. Why is it being hidden? Why isn't it on any maps? I'm certain this is all intentional. Was that attack on my vessel part of an attempt at complete concealment? There are more mysteries than I can count, but I am resolved to discover all of this island's secrets. Day 1-1. I found a strange device on the shore. It appears to be some kind of electrical contraption, but its odd design looks like no modern technology that I've ever seen. The device is capable of recording images and displaying information about what is shown in them. I've decided to take photographs of the island using this device and use them along with the journal to document what I find. Day 1-2. Soon after stepping foot on the island, I discovered a living creature. Not only that, but every living thing I found here is like nothing I've ever seen. On the other hand, normal creatures you might find on any other island seem to be almost entirely absent. It seems the island has quite a unique ecosystem. I now know that its absence on any map is not the only special feature of this place. I've decided to use this device I found to record the various species I recover. Day 2. As I explored around on foot, I found a sphere that emits a peculiar blue light. I threw it without much thought, and the creature it landed near transformed into what seemed to be light, as though the sphere had absorbed it. Unbelievably, when I tried to throw the same sphere again, the creature reappeared from the light and stared at me with what seemed to be an amicable expression. As I began to create a shelter to protect me from the elements, the creature astonishingly began to help me. How useful! Wanting to deepen my connection with this living thing, I decided to name its kind Pals. I christened this land Palshperes Island. Day 3. I discovered what appears to be an ancient ruin while exploring this island. Did humans once live here? Finding some kind of mural on the walls, I deciphered the symbols and found that it was none other than the instructions on how to make the strange sphere from before. Using palladium, the name I have given to the blue ore found throughout the island, as catalyst, it is possible to transform mere wood and stone into one of those spheres. I must record this method for production on my device. There happened to be a weakened pal near me, unable to move. Rolling a sphere towards it, I was able to capture another pal. Day 5. I've since befriended several pals. Some are similar to the sheep and birds, others to cats. Each also appears to be skilled at different kinds of work. They divvy up the work on their own accord and make life easier for me here. I'm sure the ancient civilization here must have worked with pals to prosper. Pals are not all intelligent per se, but they all work quite diligently. If pals helped build those ruins, there must be some reason why they were destroyed. Day 6. There's something odd that's bothered me since I arrived here. Far off in the distance, I can see what looks like an enormous tree, big enough to be the so-called world tree spoken about in so many myths. Still, it's so large that no amount of fog would be enough to obscure it from view from outside the island. The only hypothesis I can come up with is that something other than the fog enveloping this island prevents it from being seen by the outside world. In other words, some kind of mechanism must be preventing it from being seen from the outside. It seems likely that the mysterious powers these pals have something to do with them. Day 8. I caught sight of a pal riding on the back of a deer-like pal. Thinking it was a great opportunity to try something new, I tried attaching a saddle to a similar pal and riding it. It went better than expected. The pal was quite easy to ride. This will surely expand the area I can explore around the island. Day 10. Today, I decided to take my pals on a bit of an excursion. A tower-like object visible in the distance had piqued my curiosity. After walking a while, I encountered another human. When I tried to talk to them, however, they didn't say a word. They just pointed a gun at me. Since they're on this island, it would make sense to consider them remnants of an ancient civilization, but their attire suggests that they're likely from the same era as I am. Are they just like me, from the outside, or has the ancient civilization developed here on its own accord? I was in a rough spot, but my sheep pal protected me, allowing me to escape unscathed. I immediately returned to my base of operations and found that all my pals were safe. There's still so much to learn about this island. Day 11. I had no choice but to run away yesterday, but I can't stop thinking about that tower. Just as I decided to fashion some gear to try approaching it again, I heard the sound of gunfire behind me. That person from yesterday is after me. I couldn't sit by and do nothing. I mobilized all my pals for a counterattack. Before I knew it, they got carried away and killed the assailant. It's not like I killed anyone directly. There's no one to blame here. Day 12-1. As I approached the tower for the second time, I once again heard the sound of gunfire. It seems there are groups that have banded together and are now fighting for territory. I believe they're mostly using pals to fight this battle. This place isn't safe. I need to be stealthy if I am to wander around here. Day 12-2. While taking a breather, I tried to figure out who those people were again, but to no avail. If they're from the outside, like I am, it would seem strange that such a large group would not have information about leaving the island. I can only come to the conclusion that they're remnants of the ancient civilization here, fighting for survival. I can't fathom why or how they have guns, but it seems only natural that they must have created their weapons themselves. That, or it's possible they're imitating things that have drifted onto shore for whatever reason. Day 12-3. After a long journey, I finally managed to arrive at the tower. I'm nearly certain it's a relic from the ancient civilization. However, I have no guesses as to why it was built. Still, I can feel that there is an energy flowing throughout the place, similar to that of palladium ore. When I touched an inscribed stone slab, I found myself transported to some strange place. What I found was an enormous pearl and a human in control of it. I ran away in terror, and before I knew it, I found myself returned near the tower. Day 13. I've worked out that the ancients must have lived in luxury alongside pals. Yet, due to some unknown reason, that way of life was lost. Perhaps it was a massive natural disaster, or maybe a struggle broke out for scarce pals and resources. Then again, maybe it is something to do with the teleportation I experienced in the tower. Supposing that some power is responsible for that spatial teleportation, perhaps similar to how the Palshperes work, what would happen if that power was utilized in other ways? A power so great that humans could not control it. Perhaps that is what destroyed the civilization on this island. Day 15. I had tried to avoid thinking about it, but the foodstuffs I brought along are all but gone, and I'm sick and tired of eating berries. I did happen to find a pal eating the flesh of another pal. It looks so delicious. I can't say I was proud to think as much, but sometimes sacrifices are necessary. I captured a wild bird pal, skinned it, and fried it up for dinner. It was so delicious. The sensation of eating meat was enough to make tears run down my face. Whether in killing fellow men or pals, this island has a way of making one forget about their ethics. Day 18. I decided to distance myself from the tower and have begun to explore other areas. There are places in each area that appear to be vast caverns. They appear to have traces of human involvement, and ore can be found throughout them. Could someone have used pals to dig these holes? I can't help but feel overwhelmed by all the mysteries I'm unable to solve, but my pals have come with me no matter where I go, as long as I have food to give them, that is. Day 22. What on earth was that huge pal? I was simply walking along an open field when I encountered a massive pal the likes of which I've never seen before. I fled in surprise, but if I were to befriend a pal like that, I'd have nothing to fear on this island. The existence of a pal that size is sure to prove that pals don't follow the laws of nature as we understand them. Perhaps the pal's source of energy doesn't come from food or photosynthesis alone, but some other kind of energy. The power I encountered in that tower may also have been utilizing the same energy, but through human hands. Day 25. After living alongside pals for some time now, I've come to realize they don't breathe like normal animals. All it takes is the presence of a male and a female pair. With some time, an egg simply appears. Furthermore, it seems that the bodies of dead pals simply vanish. Where do pals come from? Where do they go? These mysteries have no end in sight. Day 29. Utilizing an inscription I found in some ruins, I managed to compress the size of Palshperes even further, developing a method for remotely moving pals. I can now also teleport the spheres themselves. This has made organizing and managing my pals much easier. It isn't too hard to imagine that the ancients must have also moved and managed large number of pals simultaneously. It's been a month since I arrived on Palpacos Island. I've grown quite used to living here. Lately, I've set pals to work making me weapons and preparing equipment. A few pals seem to have taken an interest in guns, so I've devised a weapon design for their use. Some are quite adept at handling the weapons. I'm sure they'll be all the more reliable in the coming battles. Day 32. I made a mistake. On what was supposed to be a short excursion, a group of dangerous nocturnal pals attacked me, and I was injured. Why are the pals who live on this island so aggressive? I can't help but feel that the attacks are well beyond the ferocity necessary for self-preservation. Humans, for example, will engage in bloody war at the behest of a leader. Similarly, the pals living here seem like they are fighting for the very island itself. I suspect they harbor some deep, instinctual drive to protect this place. Day 38. Having now journeyed far from where I first drifted ashore, I have come across a massive statue in the shape of a pal. I'm nearly certain that it is the legacy of an ancient civilization. But why would humans build a statue such as this? Everything I've found thus far has suggested that pals lived alongside these ancients as equals. But constructing a monument like this must mean some were also objects of worship. Perhaps there are certain pals out there that have a special significance, both to people and to pals. If you've made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It would be very much appreciated. And I hope that you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the future. Thank you. Cheers.